So I know I said hello, I hope, to all of you. I'm so excited to see you all. I hope you can feel that through the screen. And I really just want to thank you so much for Zooming in tonight. I know there's so many other things that we have to get done. And so the fact that you chose to join me tonight, I do not take lightly, and I'm so grateful. So obviously, I wish we were in person, but I am so grateful to Miriam. Miriam's usually here from Project Inspire, and I just wanted to thank her for giving me this opportunity to be with you tonight. But we have Aliza from Project Inspire, and usually Miriam's going to do an intro, and but I think I know everyone. I don't need to introduce myself, but a little bit of housekeeping that Miriam asked me to share with you is basically about Project Inspire. I know so many of you know about Project Inspire, but I just wanted to tell you, over all of COVID, basically, Project Inspire has been going nonstop to bring all of us the most unbelievable programming. You know, almost every night during the week, there's an amazing program from Project Inspire, and many of you know about their Friday night Shabbat show, which is awesome. I really encourage everybody to watch it. I watch it every Friday, but this week it's going to be tomorrow because Friday is going to be Yontif, so it's on Thursday, okay? And for all the programming, anything on one-on-one learning, if you want to have a partner in Torah, Project Inspire is your organization, and you can find out everything on their website, projectinspire.com. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can ask me in the end, and I'll hook you up. Also, I just wanted to let everyone know, if you have any questions as I go through it, please put them in the chat, and then my plan is to answer all the questions at the end, okay? And the only other thing I had here was to ask everyone to mute themselves, but my friend Aliza has got it covered. All right. Everyone, we made it. Finally, the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, which include Rosh Hashanah, the 10 days of Tshuva, and Yom Kippur, are pretty much here, just a few days. And at this time of year, I think we're all asking ourselves, what does Hashem really want from us, right? Our big day is coming up, so this question is on our mind. So I'd like to share with you a true story that I believe will answer this question and deepen all the ideas you're about to hear. It was the right prayer at the wrong time. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. The woman's voice declared loudly, once, twice, 3 times, shattering the silence of the synagogue. Congregants looked at each other uneasily. They were just about to begin the morning blessings. However, the woman who just slipped into the Karlebach shul and was in fact a stranger, was chanting a prayer that appears much later in the morning service, so she was clearly out of sync. But the Karlebach congregants were very used to uncommon happenings in their shul, but this woman's behavior was puzzling. Many Balei Tshuvas, or visitors to the shul, who were not really familiar with the prayer service would make, and I think I've been in this situation, we make a great effort to follow along, mouthing any unfamiliar words in a soft, stumbling voice, or they would ask fellow congregants for help finding the proper place in the prayer book, or they would remain respectfully silent. This woman, however, had done none of the 3. Without embarrassment, without hesitation whatsoever, she kept repeating over and over again in a loud, booming voice, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. From across the room, Reb Shlomo Karlebach approached the woman, and he said softly, My sweetest friend, what's going on? The woman began to cry. This is my first time in a synagogue in more than 50 years. I had no intention of walking into your shul, but as I was walking by and I saw the door opened, something pulled me in. The last time I was in a synagogue, I was only 5 years old. I was a small child during the war, and my parents hid me with a Gentile neighbor in Hungary, and they promised they would come back for me, but they never did. So I was raised as a Christian and removed from everything Jewish. Today, when I saw your door open, I knew I had to go in. Everyone was praying, and I so badly wanted to pray too. But the only prayer I remember from my childhood was the Shema. That's why I repeated it over and over again. It's the only prayer I know. Reb Shlomo turned to his congregation and waved his arms. Chevra, he said, I want you to know this woman's kavana, her intention, puts all of us to shame. Do you think it's the words that God cares about? It's the cry from the heart that opens the gates more than anything else. And if our prayers are accepted into heaven today, it is on the coattails of this holy woman, for her simple Shema is the holiest of all. Friends, Hashem is waiting for us to reach out to him with whatever we've got, whether it's a lot or a little. But whatever it is, do it with all your heart. All right. We're all hoping to have a great new year and be written in the book of life. But very often we don't exactly know the opportunity that stands before us. Each Jewish holiday gives us a different spiritual energy to tap into. And the days of awe, like all the other Jewish holidays, have its own power embedded in the days. And we want to be able to access its awesome power. So today, I'd like to share 3 things about the days of awe that to me are just awesome. Number 1, what happened on Rosh Hashanah that gives us reason to celebrate? We all know why we celebrate Passover, because that's when God freed the Jews from Egypt. We celebrate Hanukkah because that's when we experience the miracle of the oil and the miracle of the Jews beating the Greek army. And finally, we know why we celebrate Purim, because God saved us from Haman's evil decree. Surprisingly, many of us don't know why we're celebrating Rosh Hashanah. I certainly didn't. I remember, however many years ago it was, sitting in a high holiday program, and the rabbi at the front challenged the congregation. He literally said, Jews, what are we celebrating today? And all the hands shot up. The Jewish New Year, apples and honey, and my favorite, we won, let's eat. Clearly, I wasn't the only one who didn't know the answer. What exactly are we celebrating? Rosh Hashanah brings us back to the very beginning of creation, when everything existed only in potential. What happened that brought this awesome potential into purpose? Us. Rosh Hashanah is the celebration of the 6th day of creation when God formed Adam and Eve. It's the birthday of humanity. So happy birthday to us. At this time of year, we have the ability to tap into the energy of renewal and break free from a past that might be holding us back. We have this epic role to play, and the key to this time of year is to seize the opportunity that Hashem is putting in front of us to figure out what specific role do I want to play in the upcoming year. Now, Rosh Hashanah is called Yom Hadim, which means the day of judgment. But what exactly are we being judged on? On Rosh Hashanah, we turn inward and we focus on our personal goals for the upcoming year. What type of person, parent, spouse, employee, Jew do I want to be? There's a new year, literally a new world being created. And the question we all need to ask ourselves is, in the game of life, what position do I want to play? Sports are a wonderful metaphor for life. There are more cliches in baseball than I think in any other sport. Some of my favorites from Babe Ruth, he famously said, and these are the ones I chose that I thought would be for the high holidays. So he said, never let the fear of striking out get in your way, and every strike brings me closer to a home run. Many years ago, I actually looked at my own growth in Judaism in terms of a baseball game. I looked at my connection to Judaism and thought, what Jew do I want to be? Excuse me. For a long time, I was more of a spectator, you could call it, not actually at the game or involved in my Jewish community. Don't get me wrong, I was always very proud to be Jewish. I was cheering for my team, but I wasn't yet at the ballpark. I was a big fan. And we all know how important fans are. Is anyone watching sports lately? So if any of you are watching, so there's no crowds allowed, just the teams. But what they're using now are simulated crowd sounds. Okay, has anyone seen this? It's quite amazing. So the players need the fans. To be honest, the Jewish people have always been in need of more fans, right? Unfortunately, we're seeing a rise in anti-Semitism worldwide, especially on social media and on campus. So the question is, how do we respond? Friends, now is not the time to sit on the sidelines. Every Jew has the power to step up and do more for his people. Everyone plays a part, and every single one of us is invaluable. But unlike in sports, where there is something called a second string, when someone who at the last minute can't take a player's place, for each of us, there is no second string. Got it? Now is the time to take pride in who we are as Jews and show that pride to our children, to our community, and to the world. Personally, I wanted to learn more about Judaism, so I, so to speak, bought a ticket to the game, and I started to experience what it felt like to be part of the team by learning and by taking on a couple of mitzvahs. Still, the nosebleeds weren't doing it for me. I wanted to get closer, but I was still in the stands. But greatness doesn't happen in the stands. The stands are nice, they're cozy, there's popcorn. But if we want to be great, we've got to get in the game. At this time of year, God is looking down at us and saying, Zieskite. That means sweetie, if there's any Svardim on here. Zieskite, you want to join the team? And it's completely fair to say to God, I don't even know what my position, my role in your world is. God can handle that. He has big shoulders. But I know that if I'm here, it's because I have a unique role to play and I'm ready to step up to the plate. Part of this is taking the time to figure out my specific mission in the world. There's a national mission, and each one of us has a personal mission to fulfill. Our national mission was given at Mount Sinai when God gave the Jewish people the awesome responsibility to be a light unto the nations, to set an example and be God's ambassadors on earth. Our personal mission is no less important. We can begin by honing in on our special God-given talents. What are we good at? What brings us and others joy? And when we bring these things together to make a positive difference in the world, then we're coming close to being the player that the team so desperately needs. Everyone, Hashem is waiting for us to turn to him, because more than anyone else, he's there to help us knock it out of the park. That's pretty awesome. If you have any questions, something comes up, please write it in the chat, okay? Number 2, the first day of the month of Elul is the day when Moshe went up to Mount Sinai to get the second set of tablets. Remember, Moshe came down with the first set, and the Jewish people were worshiping the golden calf, and Moshe smashed the tablets. Why? Because on a very deep level, we weren't ready to keep those laws. So the first day of Elul, Moshe goes back up for another 40 days and begs God to forgive the Jewish people. Yom Kippur is the day Moshe came down with the second set of tablets, which signified that God had forgiven us. This day became a day for all time of divine forgiveness. And what's more awesome than forgiveness? We can go forward to God, our Father in heaven, and say, we messed up, we fell short, and we know we can be so much more. We make a plan, which is a very important part in building back that relationship, and then we wait. And of course, like any parent who waits for their children to make things right, and waits for their children to admit where they missed the mark, which is what tshuva is really about, God says, of course I forgive you, and I'm here to help you make it right. But then he says, I can forgive you for where you messed up with me, but where you damaged your relationship with others, that's up to you. Now go and apologize to your brothers and sisters. The 10 days of tshuva are not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to our true self. As my friend Charlie Harari so beautifully says, it's not about becoming, it's about revealing what's already there. Hashem is waiting for us. His attributes of mercy and compassion are flowing down on us, especially now. He loves us more than anything else and wants to have a relationship with us. Yom Kippur reminds us that we are in a relationship with the creator of the world. And when we mess up, because we all mess up sometimes, we have the opportunity to make things right. Totally awesome. Now, I wanted to show you something. I just added this part just a few days ago, and I can't give you a more sweeter example of what forgiveness looks like. I'm just going to share my screen. If you haven't seen it, oi, you're welcome. Give me 1 second. Okay, hold on. Okay, guys, 1 second. I'm gonna. Okay, give me one. Technical. Hold on. Okay, wait. Can you see it? Just give me a nod if you can. Here we go.
I'm sorry for all I did wrong. I'm sorry for all I did wrong. I try to be better forever and ever. I'm sorry for all I did wrong. I'll try to be the best that I Hashem Avinu Malkeinu Avinu Malkeinu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Ki en banu Masir Hashem Manu Tzedaka v'chesed Hashem Manu Tzedaka v'chesed V'shi'enu.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Has everyone seen this? Hold on, I'm just doing this.
When you're in your 20s, it's a type
hold on.
of
Sorry, guys.
And as you move
Turning
through
it
the
off, turning it
times,
off. There we go. I'm back. Hold on. Okay. Hands up if you have seen that video of that beautiful boy. Okay? I can't stop singing in my house. My kids are singing it, and I'm trying to do it with the same, like with his faces and everything. Okay, it just puts me in such a great mood and such a positive mood, okay? And so I want us to go into, the high holidays in a positive mood. It's not this scary time. So this little boy, I think he's reminding the whole world of what it's really about coming to it with your whole heart, right? Okay, amazing. Let's continue. All right. We're on number 3. Okay, this is one of my favorites, ladies. On Rosh Hashanah, we are literally saying to God over and over again, you are the king of the world, and I'm here to crown you. Remember, before we were created, our king had no subjects. Therefore, we made Hashem king. Each year on Rosh Hashanah, we rededicate ourselves to his kingship. So what's so awesome about that? Well, to me, if Hashem is king, then I'm not in charge. He is. Recognizing this fact is a game changer for our life and definitely for our upcoming year. We can finally give up this sense that everything is in our control and the whole world rests on our shoulders. Remember, God has his job and we have ours. And sometimes we seem to get the two confused, right? You're with me on this? Sometimes we think, we look around, we see what's going on in the world, and from our perspective, things don't seem right in our eyes. We look around, someone has more money, someone is smarter, someone's more successful, more talented, fill in the blank, and we think that should be me, or God must have made a mistake. Not only that, we look around the world and we see all the things going wrong and we try to understand it. That's us doing Hashem's job. We all know when we do this, we end up stressed, anxious, jealous, depressed, all because we're attempting God's job. It's not our job to fully understand why bad things happen to good people. It's our job to help when bad things happen to good people. I'm going to say that again. It's not our job to fully understand why bad things happen to good people. It's our job to help when bad things happen to good people. I've shared this many times in my classes, but it's worth repeating. God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all good. God can do anything. So it follows then that God, when creating the world, could have made everyone rich, everyone healthy, and everyone the same. But he didn't. One of my favorite Torahs ever is, God makes wheat, we make bread. Okay? What does this mean? So our rabbis teach us that God only brought creation so far, and he left the rest for us to partner with him and perfect the world. We are God's partners. We are here to fix the brokenness of the world. We're here because God wanted us to be, and there is a task that only we can fulfill. There's a beautiful, powerful story. It's a Hasidic story. I always love Hasidic stories. And it's a story of the second Lubavitcher Rebbe. So it goes like this. The second Lubavitcher Rebbe was once so intent on his studies that he failed to hear the cry of his baby son. His father, Rabbi Shneir Zalman of Liadi, heard, and he went down, he took the baby in his arms and rocked the baby till he went to sleep. Then he went in to see his son, who was still intent on his books, and said, "My son, I do not know what you are studying, but it is not the study of Torah if it makes you deaf to the cry of a child. To live a life of faith is to hear the silent cry of the afflicted, of the lonely, the poor, and the sick, and to respond. For the world is not yet mended. There is still work to do, and God has empowered us to do it. With him, and for his faith in us." Part of crowning Hashem, our King, is to humble ourselves. As powerful and as amazing a role we have to play in this world, we are not God. Another one of my favorite Torahs, I've probably shared this with many of you. It's from Rabbi Simcha Bunim, and he says that a person needs to walk around with 2 pieces of paper, one in each pocket. On one paper, it says, "The whole world is created for me." And on the other paper, it says, "I am but dust and ash." And he says the key to life is figuring out at every moment which piece of paper to pull out. So what does this mean to me? In times where I know there's only me, there's a job that I need to do, I'm pulling out the paper, the whole world was created for me. And other times, I know that I have to hold myself back, right? Someone else can go forward. There's something that someone else can do. I pull out the other paper of humility, of no, I'm just dust of the earth. So we have to live between this balance, right? I think that makes life interesting. So the key to this time of year is our perception, the way we see our life, the way we see our circumstances, and what will get us there? Humility. Looking at the world around us, we need to understand that there are no shortages of blessings in heaven. If we could handle it, we would have it. So I was thinking, I guess that's why I haven't won the lottery yet, right? Hashem knows I could not handle that. I'm kidding, I don't even play the lottery, but you understand what I mean, right? If we could handle it, we would have it. Hashem gives us exactly what we need in order to reach our potential. This is a fundamental Jewish idea. And the more we integrate this into our daily life, the more we will appreciate our life circumstances, challenges and all, because it is really through those challenges, not despite them, that we become the individuals that we're really meant to be. It's awesome to have a king, because the bigger we make Hashem in our lives, the smaller our worries become. So that's our 3. I want to summarize quickly, and then we're going to chat. So, number 1, the whole world was created for me, and I have this awesome opportunity with God's help to create the role that I want to play in the upcoming year. When we tap into the energy of renewal, we understand that there's no past holding us back, and we have a unique role to play, a role that no one else can fulfill. Number 2, Yom Kippur and the 10 days of tshuva is this epic time of forgiveness with God and others. And just like a loving parent would, Hashem is waiting to have a relationship with us. We have the ability to recalculate and with Hashem's help, get back on track towards who we're meant to be. Remember, we're not trying to become someone else. We're trying to become our best self. Number 3, crowning Hashem, our King, lets us know that we are not in control of everything. As it says in Perkei Avos, the ethics of our Father, it is not incumbent on us to complete the task, nor are you at liberty to desist from it. This means we have the responsibility to put in our effort every day, but the end results are not in our hands. That's very liberating. Crowning Hashem, our King, is about humility. When we change our perspective and focus on the opportunities in front of us and all the blessings that we have in our life, we can't help but feel grateful to the King of the world. And that, my friends, is totally awesome. Now, before we finish, I always give us a bracha, but I had written this already, but I heard from my friend Eve Levy, a wonderful bracha. It's so appropriate now more than ever, and I wanted to give it to all of us tonight, okay? So it's from an incredible series called The Book of Our Heritage, and it goes like this. I think you're going to want to write this one down. Let the old year and its curses come to an end. Let the new year and its blessings begin. I just want to wish a Shana Tova to every one of you and all your beautiful families. And thank you so, so much for zooming in and joining me tonight. So now I would love to have some questions and chat a little bit. So we're going to open it up. Hopefully Eliza can unmute everybody. I told you, short and sweet, right?
Amen.
Amen. Okay. I got it. Okay, you like that bracha? Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, you're gonna have to send it to us later.
Okay, I will.
Very good.
I'm gonna check. Was there any questions about any of the 3 points? Any challenges? I like challenges as people have questions or I disagree. Anyone?
I guess, Jody, it's Deborah.
Hi,
I guess really the biggest, hi, thank you, that was beautiful. But I guess really the biggest question I would have is, we always hear about our unique mission, but how do we really know what that is? And how do we get there to that understanding?
Okay. So I love the question. I touched on it a little bit, but it's worth repeating, okay? So our personal mission you're asking about? Okay. I mean, Deborah, if we're honest with ourselves, okay, and I think I'm not into bringing anyone down. I'm only into raising people up. So in this area, we have to look and be honest and think, what are we good at? Okay, each of us knows we have a talent, we have a gift in some area, and it's this particular gift, the things that we're good at. Okay, these are God-given talents, right? So we take that. What am I good at? Second thing, what brings me a lot of joy? When I'm doing something that makes me feel so great, what is that? What is that one thing? And then if I'm using my talents and that thing that makes me so happy, and I'm using it to make the world a better place. And Deborah, when I'm talking about that, you know, you can think it's changing the whole world on a grand scale, but I'm actually not talking about that. Changing the world can be as small, but it's not small, as helping your next door neighbor who needs something, okay? It's the person down the street, it's the friend who needs you to be there, whatever their suffering, that kind of stuff. Okay, your mission is whatever's in front of you. Okay, do you understand? right?
Yes.
So when, very often I'm at Sobeys. I think about this question a lot. What's my mission? What do I have to do? Sometimes I'm at Sobeys and an older lady will ask me, can I reach something for her? And I recognize at that moment, that's my mission, to help her. Okay? So we don't need to look very far. Remember, charity begins at home with our family, our community in concentric circles, Rav Kook said. Okay, so this is how we have to look at our ability to make the world a better place. That's our mission. We can start small and grow from there. But 3 things, like I said, your talents, what brings you and others joy. When you put those things together and you're sharing that, that's you tapping in to your personal mission. Does that make sense?
Oh, perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah? Okay. And listen, it takes a long time. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what it is that we're good at or anything like that. But I think it's worth thinking about. I think if I asked you, what are the things you aren't good at? I think you could come up with a list like that, right? Because sometimes that's what we focus on. But it's more worthwhile to focus on what we're good at. One other point I want to say, I don't know which rabbi said it, but he said, one of the great things to do on the high holidays is not to focus on what you're not doing right. We all know that. He said, take what you're doing right and do it even better. Okay? It's like positive psychology. Okay? Amazing. Thank you for the question. Anybody else? My hair's like sticking out. Static. Any other questions? Does the baseball analogy and what about the fans, guys? The simulated fans that are going on in sports right now? It's an amazing thing, actually. Any other questions? Thank you all for joining. Any favorite parts, anything that resonates? I always like to know, like, what stays with people.
Whole thing was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
I really loved
You're amazing, Jody.
Jody, I loved your story about the woman in the synagogue, in Karlbach synagogue. That really resonated with me because I think people who don't know how to daven, they feel very insecure. And you can daven to Hashem all day. You can speak to Hashem wherever you are. And that was it was real. That story, it was so in your heart. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the message. That's the message I want to get across. I wanted to weave through everything we spoke about is the idea that everything that we're doing, whatever it is, a little, a lot, just has to be from the heart. Can't just say the words.
100%.
Say less, but mean it. Right?
100%.
Okay.
There's no competition.
No.
There's no competition. And everybody is so different. And we all do things so differently. And it doesn't matter. There's no standard. That's what I feel.
Right.
And you did an amazing job, Jody. You're wonderful. You're beautiful.
Jody, that was so beautiful. And it is so wonderful to see so many of your faces. Thank you so much for speaking and bringing us together.
Who was that? I can't see who that is. That's Elise.
Elise, can we see your beautiful face?
Hi, Elise. There she is.
Where is she?
See her?
Oh, let me check. Where is she? Where's Elise? Where are you? Hold on. Hi, Elise. Hi. Aw. So nice to see you.
Thank you. Guys,
Hi, I'm having technical difficulties. Whenever I unmute, then I not hear you, so I'm going back and forth. But I see you the whole time, and I'm so happy to see you all.
we're so happy to see you, Elise.
Thank you, Elise.
Thank
So
you.
wonderful to see you.
Yes, Harriet, that first story, like when I first read it a number of years ago, I never forgot. Not just
Yeah.
saying about it. And I read recently the one I shared with you about the second Lubavitcher Rebbe going down to his son, who's
Right.
coveting.
That was also wonderful.
Oh, I love what he says. I don't know what you're studying, but it's not Torah.
Yeah.
And this idea, the more we get engrossed in learning, in rituals, if it is not opening our ears to the cries of the world more than ever before, we're not learning properly. Okay? It's not to bring us in, it's to like expand us in every way. Okay? Remember, Torah is not education. Torah is transformation. That's from Rebbe Weinberg.
Shut up.
One of my faves. Oh, there's Robin. Hi, Robin. Hi, Bella. Hi, everybody. Any other questions?
Anyway, you did an amazing job, Jody. It was wonderful and beautiful, just as you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Great.
I would love to answer some questions. Honestly, like I haven't been in like a class with people in so long. It's like I'm dying, guys. Okay, Deborah asked a great question. Anybody else? Can I ask you a question? You know, when I talked about that we have a national mission and a personal mission, and our national mission is this awesome responsibility to be a light unto the nations. Do you think that for a lot of Jews, they would rather say give the responsibility to someone else? I've heard people say, you know, people who I love very much and I care very much about, just after everything we've been through, they're like, God, choose someone else. I heard those words, choose someone else. And I mean, it's a fair comment. I just wanted to, I mean, I love the responsibility, obviously, you can see. But what do you guys think? Anyone? Anyone?
I mean, I don't know what to say. I know that the Holocaust survivors, I understand when they said things like that after they went through the horrors. And maybe they did say, choose someone else. I'm not interested anymore. Right. You know, it's really hard to answer that question because you don't know what those people necessarily have gone through in their life.
Exactly.
And maybe they're not able to cope.
Right.
So it's really hard to answer. Everyone is so different.
Exactly. It's a hard, right? And we don't judge anyone.
Yeah.
No.
That's the main thing. But
no.
True.
I heard that growth really takes place when you put yourself in an uncomfortable position, and it's not convenient and it's not easy, but the plight that we have will only grow from it, and we'll only get better and stronger as a community, as in our family unit, as an example. And so I think that getting uncomfortable is almost part of our journey.
So definitely, Robin, I mean, we don't have to look very far. We can look at ourselves. We can look at people in the community around the world who have gone through certain things in our life and in their lives, and then you see what they become, and it's not despite what they went through. It's because of what they went through. So there's a beautiful Jewish idea called, it's in Hasidus, again, one of my favorites. It's called Yerida Litzorech Aliyah, which means a descent for the purpose of ascent. So you know, like an arrow gets pulled back and down in order to launch it further ahead. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that before a person is going to be launched to a much higher level, they sometimes have to go through a descent. We could call this a challenge, anything like that. And so you know, very often these challenges, they make us into the people that we are today. I don't have to look very far, okay? So this is, and there's stories throughout the Torah, never mind on this, right, of greatness and the challenges that people went through. But you learn so much about yourself and about your abilities when challenges come your way. And very often, we never ask for a challenge, God forbid, okay? That's not a Jewish idea. Do not ask for a challenge. They'll come on their own, okay? However, when we're in a challenge, it's very hard to see the forest through the trees, okay? I understand, but very often we come out on the other side, we can look back and be like, okay, I'm through it. It was very difficult, but I have grown as a person. I have grown as a human being because of what I went through, whether I have different abilities, sensitivities, you know, I could go on and on. This is a whole class in itself. But yes, Robin, definitely, it's the challenges that like launch us to greater parts of ourselves. Okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Awesome. Anybody else? Bella? Is she there?
Hey, how are you?
Well, you always have good questions and comments. Come on.
No, I think you're amazing. And of course, everything that you say is always just unbelievable. And it's so true. It's such a good analogy with the, you know, getting to know the game. Like if you really want to know, if you want to be a fan, you obviously have to know the game really, really well. And get to know it, and then you become passionate about it, right? It's like anybody who knows. I'm learning about football. I'm still not there yet, but I know that when I do get how it works, I may be passionate. I may be along the side of my husband cheering for a team. So it's the same way that I look at it as, you know, trying to get into just knowing your Judaism. But the one thing that I do struggle with from time to time is I do believe that Hashem runs the world, and I do believe that he's in it for us. You know what I mean? Like he wants the best for us, and we may not see that it's always great at that moment, but then later on we can look back and say, oh, now I know why. Sometimes, not all times, but I still struggle with worrying all the time. I worry about this. I worry about the future. I worry about my kids. I worry about things that I shouldn't be worried about, because seconds later or minutes later, I'll sit there going, why am I getting worried? This is like, you know, this is a God thing. Like Hashem will take care of it. But it's very hard for me to understand that, like accept it.
No, I'm with you. I want to tell you how much I'm with you. I'm going to move the camera. I want you guys to see something. I'm sitting in my office. I shared with you a quote from Berkel, right? About it is not up to you to finish the task, but that doesn't mean you should desist, okay? I just want to show you, okay? Let me see if I can lift the computer to the side. Can you see that? What's written on the wall? You see there's two things there?
Kind of.
Can you see it?
It's hard to read it. It's hard to see it.
Hold on.
I see it, but I can't read it.
I want to read it to you. So the first one is the Berkel. It says, it is not incumbent upon you to complete the work, but neither are you at liberty to desist from it. And underneath it says, another quote, David Winiarz would say, wherever I go, I'm going to plant seeds. Hopefully they'll grow one day. It's not my job to decide if they grow or not. I just have to plant seeds.
Yeah, just show up. Yeah.
So, friends, I want to tell you, this is like I live by this, right? Which tells me in every area of my life, especially as a mother, right? It's that I have to put in my effort to everything, right? But the end results of my effort are not in my hands, okay? Okay? And we've seen this this is the way of the world, ladies, that parents can do everything right, and their child, you don't need me to say. At the same time, you can have parents who they raise a child like in a very difficult situation, right? And kids grow up stellar, amazing. Just mute. I know there's lots of wonderful. Mute. There we go. Okay, I did it. But this idea that the end results are not in our hands. So I study for a test, right? I have a test. I study. I do everything I possibly can. And the results don't turn out exactly as I hoped. I still tried my absolute best. So that's why it's not as disastrous how the things, if they don't turn out the way I planned, because the most important thing and really the only thing that I have control over is my effort. So for me, this is very, very helpful to stop me from worrying and be anxious about the future, about all the things that I have no control over. I really try and hone in and be very specific on the areas in my life that I can control, which is basically just my behavior.
Yeah, it's very freeing.
It's so
very freeing when, yeah. I had a discussion. It was actually, I think it was the first time I met Jesse Revivo, and we were talking about business. We're both entrepreneurs, small business owners, and he gave me the best advice. He said, he said two things. Number one, he said, you need to discover your personal relationship with Hashem and know that you can be driving in the car, you can be lying in bed, you can be on a walk, it doesn't matter. You can be in a party of 1 million people. You have a direct connection to Hashem. You being you has a direct connection to Hashem. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, talk to Hashem. And so I love that. That was one concept that was very I didn't think of it that way. And the other thing he said is that when he walks into a meeting, and this is, for me, it was profound, but you can put it in any situation. When he walks into a meeting, he now walks in because of that relationship he has with Hashem. He walks in knowing that he's not alone. He's got Hashem backing him up. And it was just when you go into a conversation, when you go into whatever it is for work or for family, anything good or bad, you can go in with the confidence knowing that Hashem's got your back. It's beautiful, when you think of it. Anyway, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
Robin and everyone else sitting here. So I want to tell you, earlier I was having dinner with my family. So I have an 8-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter, 16-year-old son, and we were having dinner just before, and I was nervous, okay? Everyone, I get nervous. I'm like a crazy person, okay? Doesn't matter how many times I do this, I get so nervous. So I was nervous at the table. My 8-year-old says to me, I promise you, he goes, Ima, don't be nervous. Hashem is with you. And then he goes, Ima, he's sitting right beside you. Okay, actually, and then he goes, actually, he's in you. So don't be nervous.
I love that.
Right. He's 8. And I was like, Miller, you're right. You're totally right. I'm still nervous, but Hashem is right with me. So, but it's true. Very true.
Also though, with what Bella was saying, and also how you are innately, that, okay, you're a warrior. You see it though, and what Bella said, she sees it and she catches herself. And that is so important. And that takes strength, and that takes insight, and that takes looking at the big picture, that in that moment, you're worried, and then you get yourself out of that moment. You don't go down the rabbit hole. I think it's great. And with you have Miller to back you up as well to remind you.
Yeah, he's brainwashed already.
It's true. I just want to say that it's just, I'm hoping for the day that I can get to that point where I could just say, I'm good. It's all in Hashem's hands. Because
Bella?
I think that it just takes a little bit. Yeah.
Look at your past. Look at your past, the past 10 years. Everything's always worked out. This is how I apply it with my business, because I've got anxiety about my business all the time. And how it stopped about 4 years ago when I realized no matter what challenges came that, presented itself to me, no matter what, I would get through it. I would think, oh my God, I'm going through the worst thing right now, but I would get through it. And then it would be the next year. And so I kind of took, I guess I relied on the fact that, that I had past experience to know that no matter how insurmountable it seemed, whatever the challenge was or whatever it was, the situation was, that I got through it. And that I just then started to have faith that it doesn't matter what the problem is. I know I'll get through it on the other side. So if you can just look at the past 10 years of your life, it's not that long ago, the past 10 years, and you can see everything that you've done. You've got such a beautiful life. You've got such a beautiful family. You have such beautiful friends, everything that surrounds you. Thank God. Yeah. Baruch Hashem. So it's just rely on that as the facts when you're when you're thinking about, oh my God, what's going wrong? That just know that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you're going to get through it.
So if I will add to that beautiful idea, so many of you have heard me say so many times, Judaism is not a religion. Judaism is a relationship. And so to this point, to this idea, when you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's your spouse, parents, siblings, best friend, why do we trust them? So I'll answer the question. Because they've always been there for us. They have a track record with us, right? I love my husband. I don't worry when he goes out with his friends that God forbid he's gonna cheat on me. Why? Because he's proven to me over and over again, no, you can trust me. So if we look at our relationships like this, which I think, now that I'm mentioning it, I think you all will agree, this is kind of how it is, right? If we extend that relationship that we have with others to the Almighty, we can also look back on our past, that God also has a track record with us. And when we've gone through things, we've made it through, okay? And so I feel this is it's a game, I want to tell you, it's a game changer for life, of having this understanding that, okay, it's not okay, God, you're not with me right now. I'm going through this terrible time and you're going to leave me and you're not there for me. No, you've been there for me before. You helped me before. You helped me get through. You're going to help me again. And I just think the more that we integrate this mindset, I think into all areas of our life, because we're not just talking about our relationship with Hashem, we're talking about in life, there's anxieties, there's worries, there's health, there's all these things, right? And like I said, you have to do your effort. You go to the best doctor. You have a health challenge, you go to the best doctor, okay? And you do everything that you possibly can. But at the end of the day, Hashem decides, okay? I just want to say, so for me, that's very liberating. It helps me on my day-to-day life and all the challenges that sort of come and go. Okay? We have integrate. Okay? It takes time to think about these things. Just put them on your heart. Put these ideas on your heart. Okay, something else that just came to mind. We say in the Shema, Hashem tells us, in the second paragraph of the Shema, Hashem says, take these words of mine and put them on your heart. Okay? Al levavecha. So I asked this question, so why doesn't Hashem say put them in your heart? Isn't it better to go in than on? So I heard a beautiful idea. How often is our heart actually open? Right? So Hashem says, take these words of mine, take all the things that happen, put them on your heart. And in one of those moments where we have an opening of our heart, everything will flow in. I think it's beautiful. And what helps us open the heart? I'll just tell you. Tzedakah, giving to others, all these things, helping someone else, doing something for someone else, anything. Your kids, your best friends, community, opens the heart. The heart is a muscle. It needs to be exercised. Okay. Anything else?
Love that.
You love that?
I love that. Yeah.
Love it too.
Yeah.
Lisa Black Meddings, you always have great things to add. Come on.
I'm in a listening mood tonight. I'm all talked out.
Adine? Anybody? Let's see here.
I will say though, I shared that young boy's video today too. He was just awesome because he was just giving it.
Right?
Yeah. He was invested. It was terrific.
Yeah.
I just love everything about it.
It was just the moves. He was, he really he was giving it his all.
That's right.
He was amazing. I just want to tell you that I sing that song every year because I teach nursery, and I was just thinking about it. I was just thinking about okay, next week we have to talk about Yom Kippur. What sort of crafts am I doing? What are the songs that get involved that we do with the kids? And it was so funny because that came to mind, and it's actually one of my favorite songs to sing with the kids. And you put it on, and it was amazing. It was amazing. He was great, really, really cute. Loved it.
We'll have to show the kids that.
For sure. Yeah. Is that on Facebook?
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Yeah.
Bella,
Amazing.
I have it on. Look on my feed. I shared it. I think it was yesterday on my feed.
I was
talking. Sorry, I don't even know who's talking right now.
I think we all shared it.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Bella, it's Robin.
I just want to say hi, Sandra. I see you. I know I think it's you. I see your picture of your daughter, but I just want to say thank you for coming. I see Kim. Is that Kim Smiley? I'm not sure. I hope it is. Maybe. Can't see. It's just Kim. Okay. Whichever Kim it is, welcome, Kim. And okay, ladies, it's 9 o'clock. I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you so much. If anyone would like to, there's an article I wrote on Aish. Anybody read it? So it was based on this class. It's called The Days of Awesome, and it's on aish.com. And if you haven't read it, check it out.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Shana Tova.
Thanks so much, Jody. It was amazing.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks, Jody.
Shana Tova.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you so much for joining tonight. It's amazing. Bye, Lee. Bye, Bella.
Bye.
Aliza, wait. Did Aliza Project Inspire? Wait for 1 second. Aliza, 1 sec. Don't go yet. Just want to say goodbye to everybody. Bye, Ali. Bye, Rona. Bye, Harriet. Bye, Lee. Bye, Adine. Bye.